There are moments in life when we feel lost, as though we are stranded in the midst of an unknown. It is a peculiar sensation, as if the ground beneath us, which once felt solid, is slowly vanishing, yet no new path has appeared to replace it. Everything that once made sense suddenly becomes obscured. The plans we so carefully devised begin to unravel, and the people we held close begin to drift away. No matter how hard we try to cling to that old reality, it slips through our fingers like sand. It's not a sudden loss, but rather a gradual erosion, an unspoken transition. It's the discomfort of being in a space between what was and what is yet to come. The safety of the past no longer exists, while the future remains an uncertain mystery. If you are feeling this emptiness, this weight of uncertainty, rest assured that you are not alone. This feeling is not a mistake along your journey, but rather a sign that something far greater is unfolding. Life as you once knew it may seem to be falling apart, but perhaps it is simply being prepared for something new. What makes this period of uncertainty so unsettling is not only what has not yet arrived, but also what is leaving. What was once stable, dependable, and secure now begins to falter. The foundations you built your life upon, whether a relationship, career, or long-term dream, begin to crumble beneath your feet. This is the moment when reality, as you know it, becomes unrecognizable. It's the job that once gave you purpose, yet now feels hollow despite its security. It's friendships that seem to dissolve without explanation, as if a quiet distance has settled between you. It's the belief that things have always been this way, only for that belief to no longer fit with your heart's truth. It's as though the universe is gradually removing the pieces of the puzzle you've spent a lifetime assembling. And that can be terrifying. The most confusing part is that these shifts often begin subtly. It may appear as a lingering sense of dissatisfaction, a lack of joy that no external success can fill. You reach your goals, the ones you've always longed for, but the satisfaction is fleeting and shallow. This is not a sign of ingratitude, but rather a reflection of your soul revealing that the foundations you once relied on are no longer sufficient for the person you are becoming. The resistance to this transformation is natural and at times painful. We attempt to fix what is crumbling, trying to restore relationships to what they once were, or holding on to careers that no longer nourish us. We do this because we believe our identity and security are intertwined with these structures. Yet life operates in its own divine rhythm, knowing when something has served its purpose and when it must be released to allow growth. What seems like disaster is not by chance. Things are not falling apart randomly. They are being dismantled with precision, making way for what is more aligned with your true self. This is the first unmistakable sign that a profound rearrangement is underway, not to punish you, but to prepare you for a reality that is more in tune with who you truly are. What the human mind labels as chaos is, in fact, an essential part of a far more organized process. Our mind seeks patterns, order, and control. When these familiar structures are removed, the default reaction is panic. We perceive things falling apart and assume that something is going wrong. But the universe's logic differs from our own. It does not prioritize our comfort. Rather, it focuses on our evolution. From this higher perspective, what we call chaos is merely the dismantling of an old order to make space for a new one. Consider, for example, a seed. To the untrained eye, it may seem as though the seed is dying as it disintegrates in the soil. But in truth, it is during this process of dissolution that it transforms, finding the necessary conditions to sprout into something greater. The disorder you may be facing is not random. It is a reorganization. We are often taught to fear uncertainty and to associate it with failure. But what if what you are experiencing is not failure, but a passage? What if all of this is not a punishment, but a force pushing you towards something far greater than you can imagine? The confusion you feel may be a moment of internal construction, much like an active construction site, where old structures are dismantled and new foundations are laid. Like any construction project, this process is rarely clean or silent. The resistance you feel during this process is what generates most of our suffering. We try to hold on to what is falling apart because our minds tell us that the void is dangerous. Yet, the wisdom in this process tells us to let go. What appears as a loss may, in fact, be a release. What seems like the end is, in reality, a transition to something more in harmony with your true path. This leads us to an even deeper question. Why is this reorganization happening now? Is there a reason why your life is being turned upside down at this very moment? If external disorder is only the reflection of an internal reorganization, the natural question arises: what is the logic behind all of this? The logic is simple. What no longer resonates with your essence is being removed, and the universe, in its divine wisdom, knows this better than anyone. Many times, this happens because your energy is expanding, but the structures around you remain stagnant. Imagine a river flowing through a narrow bed. If the riverbed cannot contain the force of the water will break through the banks to follow its natural course, which is far stronger than any barrier built to constrain it. Similarly, your soul is too vast to remain confined within limiting forms. And what may seem like a disaster is often the removal of what no longer serves you, creating space for what is meant to come. This deconstruction is a vital step toward your complete self-realization. This is the paradox of the human journey. Our lives are being rearranged because we have asked for it. Perhaps you've asked for more peace, more purpose, more joy, or more authenticity. Now, the universe is answering your prayer, but not in the way you expected. Instead of neatly delivering everything in a box, it is clearing the space, removing what stands in the way of the new phase that is about to emerge. This answer manifests in a form we may not fully understand at first, yet it is synchronicity in action. The pain you experience in this phase is the pain of resistance, the friction between who you are becoming and what still tries to hold you back. But know this, the universe never abandons you in chaos. Instead, it refines you through it. That is why you feel your world crumbling. It is being rearranged to reveal a truer reality, one more in alignment with your deepest desires. The first and most important lesson the universe asks of us in this new phase is to let go. But what does letting go truly mean? Many people believe that letting go is synonymous with giving up, abandoning what matters, or becoming indifferent. However, this is a shallow and limited view. In the context of life's transformation, letting go is an act of deep trust and a recognition that attachment is the main source of resistance to life's flow. The pain we feel does not come from the loss itself, but from our attachment to what is no longer with us. It's not about what we're losing, but the weight we're being freed from. The concept of detachment, so central in spiritual traditions, is a path to liberation. The pain we feel when something leaves is not from the loss itself, but from the attachment we had to it. We often build our identity around roles, plans, and even people. When these pillars are removed, we feel as if a part of us is disappearing. But the universe is simply dissolving the layers of false beliefs we use to define ourselves, revealing our true essence, which is infinite and can never be lost. While this process may be painful, it is not done with cruelty. Life is inviting you to a sacred attachment, a release from the need for control, from the obsession with outcomes, and from fixating on a singular path. As long as you cling to what no longer resonates with your being, the energy that could usher in the new will remain trapped in maintaining the old. The pain of transformation is often the friction between who you were and who you are becoming. What once gave you the illusion of security now stands as a barrier preventing you from rising. This release is an act of courage. It is the decision to trust that what is destined for you cannot be lost or taken away. Life is performing an energetic cleansing to open space for alignment. Perhaps you asked for more purpose, and life removed the career you followed out of obligation. You asked for more peace, and the universe removed relationships that constantly generated conflict. These are direct answers to your deepest prayers, manifested through the removal of everything standing in the way of your true path. So, the way life responds may not always match our expectations. But through letting go, you don't become cold or indifferent, you become free. You create space for new energy to enter your life. When you stop fighting against what is being taken from you, you open a valuable inner space, not a void to fear, but a window of opportunity. The space that remains is a solid foundation for reconstruction. It is the absence that makes room for the presence of something new. And in this new freedom, you begin to hear a voice that grows clearer, your intuition. Intuition is not a mystical force, but rather an innate wisdom that speaks through a language different from the intellect. It does not rely on data, facts, or formulas, but rather on a sense of resonance, an inner certainty that simply is, without needing explanation. In a life governed by control and certainty, the voice of intuition is often silenced. Yet now, in the absence of all the certainties you once clung to, it finally has the space to be heard. The challenge now is learning to trust this new form of guidance. The mind craves concrete proof, immediate results, and the safety of a defined plan. But intuition speaks in subtle signs, an unexpected impulse to go somewhere, a moment of inner stillness when making a decision, or the sense that something does not feel right, even if it seems logical on paper. This is your energy responding to something or someone long before your intellect can process the details. The silence that follows the collapse of the old structures is the perfect condition for your inner voice to become the guiding light. And that light is your intuition. Learning to follow intuition is not about disregarding reason, but recognizing its place. Logic is a powerful tool for execution, but intuition is the essential tool for direction. It is your ability to sense the natural flow of life, to feel the energy of the paths opening and closing, and to trust that there is a greater intelligence orchestrating your journey. It is a faith that is not blind but rooted in a deep connection with your truest self, the part of you that knows the way, even without seeing it. It is this surrender to your inner wisdom that marks the beginning of a quiet but powerful reconstruction already taking place within you, one that will eventually manifest in your reality. What most people fail to realize is that while the external world may seem to be collapsing, a silent rebuilding is already in motion. This phase is not about passively waiting for the universe to deliver a ready-made solution, but about becoming an active participant in the process of co-creation. This is where true wisdom reveals itself. You begin to understand that the reorganization is not merely about removing what no longer serves you, but also about planting seeds for your new reality. Once your energy is freed from attachments and resistance, it becomes the architect of this new phase. This process of reconstruction manifests subtly as a new clarity emerges within you. Answers to old questions appear in unexpected moments. You start to gain a deeper understanding of who you are, what you truly want, and what no longer serves you. The truth of your being begins to emerge. This process may seem abstract, but it has practical, tangible effects. Your choices start to align with your most authentic energy, and situations that once created friction now resolve with greater ease. However, it is essential to recognize that the life you are creating is not simply a patched-up version of your past. It is something entirely new. The old identities, roles, and beliefs that once seemed permanent now dissolve, making room for the person you are truly meant to become. You stop defining yourself by what you do or by who you know, and instead, you begin to align with your own essence. This inner refinement is the most important aspect of the rearrangement. It forms the foundation upon which your new life will be built, a foundation that does not shake with external changes. In this process, there is no need to force doors open or chase after opportunities. Your primary task is simply to be. Your frequency, your energy, and your presence become the magnet for experiences that resonate with your new self. It is a fundamental shift from effort and struggle to attraction. Life begins to move with you, not against you. Synchronicity ceases to be a rare coincidence and becomes the daily language of the universe, confirming that you are on the right path. The new reality that is forming is a direct manifestation of your current state of being. It is created step by step, with every conscious choice you make, with every attachment you release, and with every time you trust your inner wisdom. When life begins to rearrange, one of the deepest processes that occurs is the letting go of who you are not. Throughout our journey, we create various identities, roles, and personas to fit in, to gain acceptance, or simply to survive. These were the masks we wore to hide our vulnerability or to meet others' expectations. Now, the universe is removing those roles, not to punish us, but to compel us to confront the truth of who we are without all the layers we've accumulated over time. The removal of these masks is what makes the process so personal and at times painful. It's not just the loss of a job, but the dissolution of your identity as a successful professional. It's not just the end of a relationship, but the dismantling of your role as someone's partner. The pain of rearrangement is often the pain of a false identity being undone, and that, in fact, is a gift. The universe is revealing to you that your true essence is so powerful that it doesn't need these personas to thrive. It can stand on its own, without the need to act or pretend. The wisdom in this process lies in understanding that your authenticity is not something to be built. It is something to be revealed. Rearrangement is, at its core, an invitation to return home to your truest self. It is a process that asks, who would you be if you didn't have to prove anything to anyone? It is a refinement where everything that is not truly you is gently, and sometimes abruptly, removed. And as uncomfortable as this may feel, this journey of self-discovery is likely the most important one you will ever undertake. This phase demands immense courage, the courage to be vulnerable, to admit that your identity was once anchored in external things. It asks you to look in the mirror and recognize that the self you showed the world for so long was not your true self, but a version built for survival. When you stop clinging to those old identities, the universe begins to conspire in your favor, drawing people and circumstances that resonate with your new, more authentic frequency. The discomfort of letting go of old habits and patterns is an inevitable part of this process. But what emerges through this transformation is stronger, more resilient, and more aligned with your true self than what was lost. What most people don't realize is that external changes are merely a reflection of a profound inner transformation that is already underway. Life is not breaking you without reason, but refining your essence. It's like a precious metal undergoing purification, where the heat and pressure release its impurities. The crises, discomforts, and losses you face are the necessary forces for you to become your purest and most authentic self. This refinement occurs on every level: emotional, mental, and spiritual. In this process, you are invited to release the thought patterns that no longer serve you. Your mind, once trapped in limiting beliefs about what is possible, begins to expand. You realize that the stories you told yourself, "I am not capable, I don't deserve, this is impossible," were merely constructions limiting your potential. This mental refinement is what allows your intuition, the voice of your soul, to become clearer and more reliable, because it no longer needs to compete with the noise of your own doubts. The same transformation happens within your emotions. You're now challenged to feel and process emotions you may have avoided for years. Anger, sadness, and fear that once seemed like weaknesses. But now these emotions become messengers, guiding you to where more healing and attention are needed. This is an emotional cleansing process, where stagnant energy is released to create space for acceptance and peace. Emotional healing may not be easy, but it is the foundation of your resilience. It is the moment when you learn that emotions are temporary and that your inner peace is unshakable. These inner changes directly affect your external reality. As you refine yourself, people and situations that no longer resonate with your new frequency begin to move away. Meanwhile, new, more authentic, and aligned connections begin to appear. This is the law of attraction in its purest form. Your outer world is rearranging itself to become a mirror of your inner growth, reflecting your truth and evolution. The purpose of all this is not simply to make you feel better, but to make you stronger and more prepared for the life you are destined to live. Your life is undergoing this refinement so you can become the being you've always been, but who is hidden beneath the layers of who you are not. The discomfort you experience during this process has a much deeper purpose. It's easy to interpret this pain as punishment, as though something has gone terribly wrong. However, spiritual wisdom and personal growth teach us that discomfort is an essential tool, not a mistake. It is the friction that creates movement, the catalyst that pushes you to your next level of awareness and growth. Life operates with a growth logic very similar to nature. A seed must endure pressure and darkness to break its shell and sprout. Similarly, a diamond is formed under intense pressure and heat. We too undergo a similar process. There are moments when the universe applies necessary pressure to release what no longer serves us, helping us develop an inner resilience that can never be forged within our comfort zone. It is an invitation for you to let go, to become more flexible, and to allow the flow of life to shape you into something stronger and more authentic. Discomfort also serves to align you with your true self. On a deeper level, pain is a sign that you are operating out of alignment with your truth. When you force yourself to stay in a job that drains your energy or in a relationship that no longer nourishes you, discomfort grows. It is as though your inner system is calling you to pay attention. The hidden purpose of the pain that arises from discomfort is not to make you suffer, but to guide you back to a place of greater authenticity and peace. Instead of fighting discomfort, true wisdom lies in embracing it. The fear of discomfort is what keeps us stuck in limiting situations. But when we understand that discomfort has a purpose, our perspective shifts completely. We stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" This shift in perspective is the turning point. It is the moment you stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming the student of your own journey. In the face of deconstruction, the greatest barrier we encounter is not the pain itself, but our resistance to it. Fear and the need for control cause us to fight against what is happening, desperately clinging to what is already dissolving. But true wisdom lies in saying a sacred yes to transformation. This is not a yes of defeat or passivity, but a yes of deep acceptance and collaboration with life's intelligence. It is the conscious decision to stop fighting against the current and to let it carry you where you need to go. Acceptance in this context is an act of power. It shifts your position from being a victim to becoming an active participant. What once seemed like a blow of fate now becomes an invitation to alignment. Instead of wasting energy trying to reverse the process, you direct it toward adapting to it. The sacred yes is surrender, a trust that, even without knowing where you are going, life is guiding you to a place of greater authenticity and purpose. Saying yes does not mean you won't feel pain or discomfort. On the contrary, it means feeling everything and still choosing to trust. It is the courage to look at chaos and say, "I don't understand this, but I trust that there is a purpose." It is the recognition that your mind does not have all the answers and that there is a greater wisdom at work. This surrender is the turning point, the moment when you stop defining yourself by your plans and start defining yourself by your ability to adapt and flow with life. As a result, your inner peace becomes unconditional because it no longer depends on external circumstances. This conscious acceptance is one of the most crucial steps toward evolution. It is the moment when you release control and allow life to work in your favor. Ironically, by doing so, you become more powerful than ever. You stop wasting energy fighting the inevitable and begin channeling it into creating and manifesting a new reality. You are no longer simply reacting to the events of your life. You are now collaborating and creating them. And it is precisely this collaboration that marks one of the most beautiful and important phases of your journey. By saying yes to transformation, you are not merely surrendering to it. You are opening yourself to the revelation of a new self, one that has been waiting for this moment for a long time. Perhaps you were once a conditioned version of yourself, shaped by societal expectations, fears, and the roles imposed on you. But the reorganization you have undergone was a process of refinement. It removed everything that was not authentically you, so that your true self could finally emerge. The new version of you is not something you need to become. It is the essence that has always existed, now free to manifest. The result of this process is not a new life, but a new way of living your life. Your external reality, little by little, begins to align with your inner frequency. No longer do you need to force situations or squeeze yourself into places that do not serve you. The right people, aligned opportunities, and experiences that nourish your soul begin to manifest naturally as reflections of the person you have become. It is synchronicity working in your favor. You are no longer reacting to the world, but co-creating it from a place of truth. This revelation does not happen all at once, but in small, meaningful moments. It is the peace you feel when walking away from something that once seemed essential. It is the clarity that arises about your true direction. It is the courage you find to be vulnerable and authentic. Each of these moments is proof that the discomfort and uncertainty you once faced serve their purpose. They were the catalyst that set you free. True freedom is not the absence of problems, but the ability to remain true to yourself regardless of circumstances. The journey that began with feelings of being in limbo, with life falling apart, was, in truth, a journey of returning home. Chaos was not punishment, it was guidance. Losses were not a curse, they were liberation. And pain was not a mistake, it was proof that you were growing. You have undergone this transformation and emerged stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your true essence than ever before. The life that once seemed to be falling apart was, in truth, revealing itself in its most authentic form. In the end, what is revealed is that the journey was never about building something new. It was about discovering what has always been within you. Thank you for embarking on this journey with me. If this video resonated with you, I invite you to like and subscribe to our channel, Quantum Aligned. Share this video with others so they too can benefit from this message. And don't forget to leave a comment below, sharing your thoughts, reflections, and experiences. Thank you once again for watching and for joining me. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you soon.